So I did the only sane thing. I pulled logs and opened a new folder called Karma. Start with the doorbell. The frame overlay said one thing. The MKV container said another. The clock skew matched a post-process export. I dragged the file through EXIF tool just to be petty. The stream metadata matched my camera's serial, but the MUX timecode showed a re-encode. You can paint the walls. The studs still tell on you. Then the Wi-Fi associations. My guest SSID is a honeypot with manners. At 2:14 a.m., it saw a device with a randomized MAC wander into range and chirp a probe. People think random MACs mean invisibility. They forget probe request elements can still fingerprint chipset families and behavior fingerprints too. Association intervals, supported rates, HT capabilities order. DHCP declined, but I still logged the probe and later matched the behavior to my cousin's iPhone model from prior captures. Humans are habits. The house remembers. Next, the eSign audit trail. Their platform stamped a certificate of completion with IP, geo, and a user agent that tried to look like me. Except my machines ran macOS 13, and the UA said 1.2.6.3 with a Safari build I never touched. My home IP wasn't anywhere near that signature. Their office block was. The audit didn't scream, it just hummed the wrong tune. That's enough. I printed the consent and checked for the tell. Most color laser printers whisper with yellow dots. Machine identification codes. Tiny constellations you don't see unless you ask. I scanned the page at 120 dpi, bumped the blues out, and the sky lit. Date, time, and printer serial baked into the page like smug freckles. I ran the grid against an EF decoder pattern and got a match that lived at my brother's house. I'd been there. I'd seen the exact machine. They tried remote notarization too. The video they filed had me in a shirt I don't own, in a room I don't have, with a webcam that never breathed. EXIF said wrong time zone, a UVC identified non-Apple webcam, and exposure locked flat like a plate. No auto white balance drift, no sensor noise at the edges, no micro motion pulse in the cheeks. A virtual background posing as a room. The notary stamp number? A reverse lookup later tied it to an expired, non-renewed license. For now, the smell was enough. My phone buzzed. My sister, can we stop making this hard? I typed and erased 10 versions of nothing. I remember Dad flipping pancakes, making checksum jokes. Trust, then verify the verification. I heard his voice again. If they push you, use the house. The house wasn't just a place, it was a witness with perfect memory. Stakes clarified themselves. If they got a temporary control order, they could start moving funds under the color of legitimacy. It would be slow to undo and quick to devastate. I needed leverage larger than any argument. I needed time, and time is best bought with proof that survives a shredder. So I set rules. No contact, no threats, only signals and receipts. I built a vacation mode profile that looked like laziness, lights on random, TV murmurs, but sat on a hair trigger. If their phones crossed the geofence, the safe relocked, the cameras pivoted. The bank got a ping stamped with GPS and UTC. I tuned the UPS downstairs, checked LTE failover, cleaned the syslog stream. I scheduled a motion to contest, but held it like a trap that needed teeth. Then they set a date to inventory Dad's assets, a word that made my jaw tick. So I packed a bag, turned off the coffee maker, and moved out. The house didn't mind. It prefers to work alone. The digital scent, metadata, doesn't lie. As the door closed behind me and the guest room turned into mission control, I poured the house into folders. Karma wasn't a name. It was a workflow. Step 1. The doorbell anomaly. I lined up the overlay timestamp against the MKV container's creation and modification fields. The overlay said 2 hours 14 minutes and 32 seconds, but the MUX timecodes hinted at a re-encode. The NTP sync device clock drifts less than half a second a day. This was 87 seconds sideways. I pulled the container metadata, duration tags, segment info, writing app fingerprints, and there it was, a post-process export signature from a different software build than lives on my server. You can kick a footprint into sand, but the gate still gives you away. I dragged the file through EXIF tool out of spite. Doorbells don't embed full EXIF like a DSLR, but many tag container metadata and stream comments, codec, writing app, HDR toggles. The sensor profile matched my unit serial, but the frame index jumps betrayed a splice. 2 frames dead center had a bitrate wobble that only shows up when someone recompresses after trimming. Dumb edits leave smart crumbs. I moved to Wi-Fi. My guest SSID runs like a friendly concierge and a forensic archivist. Probe requests at 2:14 lit up my logs with a randomized MAC. But the OUI from the probe's supported rate set, those are stubborn, pointed at an Apple baseband. Behavior fingerprinting told the rest. The spacing on retries, the order of the HT capabilities, the way it flirted with WPA3 but settled for WPA2 like a tired thief. I compared it to captures from last Thanksgiving when my cousin forgot to ask for the Wi-Fi. Same cadence, same impatient scan pattern. DHCP was declined, but my AP still recorded the handshake attempts and their RSSI arc as he walked the sidewalk. He thought he was invisible. He's never met my syslog. The eSign audit trail did that smug thing digital receipts do. Polite, boring, devastating. Certificate of completion showed an IP block assigned to my brother's office suite, not my home ISP. The user-agent string told a fuller story, macOS 12.6.3 with an older Safari/WebKit build. My Macs were on macOS 13 with a newer WebKit. You can fake a name, you rarely fake maintenance habits. Even the screen resolution embedded in the audit hinted at a non-Retina external monitor. My desk is all Retina, no exceptions, all their polish, and they left the equivalent of ketchup on a white shirt. Paper time. I scanned their consent on a flatbed, knocked the blue channel out, and the page turned into a star map. MIC yellow dots. Machine identification codes. Little constellations color printers sprinkle that nobody talks about until someone needs to go to jail. I overlaid the EFF decoder grid and pulled a neat timestamp, 2:11 a.m. last Tuesday, with a serial that matched a brother color laser sitting in my brother's home office, 2 feet from his leaning tower of unfilled receipts. I joked about those receipts. The page didn't laugh. They'd wrapped it all with remote notarization. The video file they filed had me in a static little rectangle that didn't blink right. I checked EXIF wrong time zone for my location, UVC vendor ID pointing to a budget webcam, constant exposure locked like a painting. Real rooms breathe, lights hum, faces drift in tone, auto white balance chases the sun. Their clips sat there like a catalog photo. I zoomed into reflections in a cheap frame behind me and caught the boxy outline of a softbox. I don't own studio lights. I own a desk lamp and a grudge. I replayed the doorbell clip again because I wanted to be wrong. The overlay clock ticked. The internal time code lagged. The smear at the edges of one frame said the encoder hiccuped during recompression. The courier turned just enough to flash a cheekbone I knew. My sister has a way she smiles when she lies. Only one side commits. The house caught the almost smile. I built a timeline that didn't care about feelings. Probe request at 2:14, doorbell press seconds later, edited export drift of 87 seconds. Printer mic at 2:11. eSign audit 2 hours after with the wrong UA and the office IP. Remote notary video encoded overnight with a notary stamp I reverse search to find a license that expired 2 years ago. The edges aligned into a box. They assumed that if they took the breaker down, they'd kill the witness. So I stress tested the backbone. Rack-mounted UPS units reported 90 minutes under current load. PoE kept cams and the door lock controllers alive. LTE failover cut over in 12 seconds during a mock blackout and started whispering to the cloud again. Every log stream shipped upstream to an immutable bucket with object lock and a retention policy nobody, including me, could delete. Timecodes locked to NTP and a monotonic counter, so even clock skew wouldn't smear causality. If the house had a pulse, it was counting out loud. Dad had said, use the house. Translation: let physics and math keep you honest. I salted each log entry and signed it. I set the exporter to roll a Merkle tree hash ladder every hour, pin the root hash with a trusted time authority, and email the digest to my attorney's archive. No arguments, no grandstanding. Just cryptographic boredom that a judge could love. Last piece. Make mistakes expensive. I stood up a fake admin dashboard on a private URL. The big, shiny button watermarked the page with IP, time, and device UA the moment anyone clicked, then dropped a 1-pixel hash beacon into cache so even screenshots told on themselves. If they tried a VPN, WebRTC stun ICE would still reveal the public exit IP and sometimes local candidates despite a VPN. If they switched to a hotspot, My passive IMSI logger sitting in a Faraday-painted toolbox would note their devices blowing kisses at the tower. I sat back, listened to the server fans purr, and felt the house settle into the role Dad built it for. Not a fortress, a witness that never sleeps. The ghost plan, designing the trap. Macro loop first. Erase their fraud without touching them. No calls, no texts, no righteous speeches that end up as screenshots out of context. Signals only, receipts only. If they wanted paper, I'd give them paper that bled math. I wrote the rules on a sticky note and stuck it to the server door. 1. I don't initiate. 2. I don't obstruct. 3. I let them sign their own names to their own mess. 4. Every action they take flips a switch somewhere they can't see. Vacation mode wasn't a vibe. It was a playbook. I tuned lighting scenes to look like a human with bad habits. Kitchen light on 5 minutes at 9:07, bathroom fan at random, TV murmurs that cycled between a news anchor and a sitcom laugh track. Under that camouflage, I wired hair triggers. Non-authorized devices breaching the geofence spun up a stack. Safe relock. Interior cameras pivot to watch drawers and safes. Microphones capture first contact. And the bank's fraud webhook gets a packet stamped with GPS, UTC, and my device cert. If they pushed the front door keypad and failed twice, the webhook also went to the estate's trustee inbox with a subject line that started tamper. I tied banking to presence like a pacemaker. The accounts wore automations. If an access attempt occurred within 10 minutes of a geofence breach, freeze the relevant sub-account and alert AML. If an IP tried my fake admin panel, watermark the attempt, and embed a 1-pixel hash in their browser cache, they'd think they were seeing control. They'd be seeing their reflection. Legal chess needed timing. I drafted the motion to contest, lined up exhibits by hash, and told my attorney 3 things. Hold this until we have trespass footage during pending litigation. Push the e-sign audit trail only when the first transfer flag pings, and have the special master language ready in case the judge likes gadgets. My house would be the one testifying. I'd be a seat in the back, eating a waffle. Dad's line, use the house, kept circling. It wasn't revenge, it was design. I foreshadowed for myself, because I knew how they think. They believe possession is 9/10. So I made possession radioactive. If they held a key, the lock logged. If they flipped a drawer, the hinge might caught the wine and the joke they cracked to feel brave. If they printed anything, the hallway cam picked up the flicker that every laser throws when it sleeps and wakes. Little things become big when you line them up. They set a date to inventory Dad's assets, a phrase people use when they want to steal with a spreadsheet. Therefore, I moved out. I took a backpack, a laptop, a hardware key, and nothing sentimental. The house prefers to work unsupervised. It gets shy when you watch it. Then I designed the lever, a clean, mechanical arc that clicked from maybe to, oh, I wrote a scene. The day they arrive, speakers announce in the flattest voice, executive audit in progress. Please present identification for executor access. Not a trap, a request. When they ignore it, and they would, I had the rack on UPS for 90 minutes. LTE failover tested at 12 seconds. Syslog streaming into an object-locked bucket that neither I nor God could delete. Timecodes locked to NTP and a monotonic counter, hash ladder rolling on the hour. Root hashes timestamped by a trusted authority and emailed to counsel. If they decided to pull the main breaker, the house would whisper to the cloud like it was telling a friend a secret. I needed a moral line I could live with. No harm, no threats, just mirrors. If they stopped, the house went quiet. If they pushed, the house talked louder. That was the boundary. I didn't sleep better, but I slept. I added small baits that didn't look like baits. A folder on the desktop named Tax Old. Inside, a PDF with a file name that included passwords and nothing of value beyond the pixel beacon that would marry their click to their device. Another, a fake shared drive link sent to my own decoy account, publicly discoverable if you searched hard enough for the wrong thing. If they were going to rummage, I'd let them find what I wanted them to find. Final passes. Rotate account recovery keys, enforce passkeys and hardware tokens. Set the carrier port out pin. Enable SIM swap locks across carriers that never pick up when you need them. I rehearse the exit. New lease name, P.O. box, eastbound train, silent socials, one scheduled obituary for the email I never liked. I walked the house one last time. The living room smelled like dust and lemon oil, and the warm, metallic breath of the rack. I put my palm on the server door like I was checking a sleeping dog's ribs. "If they push," I said out loud, "you know what to do." The house didn't answer. It never does. It just logs. First battle, inventory day ambush. They arrived with tote bins and a fake sense of purpose. 3 cars nose to tail like a parade for bad decisions. The house felt them first, geofence prickle, devices grazing the boundary, and flipped its face to neutral. I watched from a diner 5 miles away, fork parked and cooling waffles, audio in my earbuds turned low enough to hear the room breathe. The foyer motion tickled on, then the latch rattled. 2 keypad fails in a row, just like practice, and the webhook sprinted to the bank with GPS and UTC, while a second packet hopped to the trusty inbox labeled tamper. The speaker by the hallway cleared its throat and said, calm as a dentist, executive audit in progress. Please present identification for executor access. They looked up like the ceiling had judged them. My brother tried to grin. It's our house. The camera above the mantel blinked awake and slid on its PoE rail to frame his hands. The house doesn't negotiate. It records. They split like they'd rehearsed. My sister to Dad's office. My cousin to the safe in the den. Mom's friend, the one with comforting casseroles and opinions, hovered near the printer like it was a shrine. They killed the breaker with a satisfied clunk, and the house barely yawned. Rack-mounted UPS units took the weight. PoE switches hummed steady. NVR eyes blinked. Router sipped battery, and LTE failover slid the WAN back inside 12 seconds. Cloud uplink resumed like a whisper returning to a story. The office door was new steel over old wood, my compromise between nostalgia and people who don't knock. The thermal cam in the hallway watched a white bloom appear at the lock as my brother warmed a cheap torch he'd bought for projects. Inside the office, a pinhole camera behind a book spine caught the key jiggle through. He muttered, "We'll say we found it open." And the bookshelf mic picked the sentence clean. In the kitchen, their tote lids thumped like punctuation. The mic over the island caught my sister saying, "Take only what we can justify." And then, softer, "He's going to make this ugly." The speaker, neutral as a cue card, repeated, "Please present identification for executor access." They ignored it the way people ignore smoke alarms on TV. I watched the den cam pivot. My cousin, arm deep in the safe drawer, pulled out a manila folder with theatrical surprise. Here it is. Consent. The cam's lens washed a tiny flare across the page. Laser fuser sheen, the kind MIC yellow dots danced on. The hallway wide shot got the printer's sleep-wake flicker. The office cam got the staple angle. The foyer cam reflected his phone screen in a framed photo's glass. I froze that frame on my laptop and read the phone model off the notification shade like it was printed in the bottom corner. They laid the consent on the kitchen counter like it had been found in a cave. I took a still from above and another at a raking angle for the exposure ladder. EXIF on the still frames came clean. No edits, HDR off, shutter stepping the way my cams do when they're bored. I smiled into my coffee. My cloud OCR chewed the page in real time, flagged staple holes that didn't match the earlier filing, and logged a note. MIC pattern present. Decode later. Somewhere between tote 3 and tote 4, they remembered the cameras. My sister dragged a chair under the living room dome and looked for a button that didn't exist. Mom's friend covered a hallway cam with a tea towel, then patted it like she'd put a baby down for a nap. The dome cam in the opposite corner watched through the gap the towel left, because towels don't have ND ratings. The house prefers redundant angles over arguments. Downstairs, the router closet door opened and an ocean of water hit the floor. Someone had decided a pipe leak would add plausible deniability and maybe drown a few eyes. The UPS in the rack beeped twice, offended. Cameras kept whispering their packets to the cloud. Timecodes kept locking to NTP and the monotonic counter, refusing to let chaos smear cause and effect. Syslog shipped to the immutable bucket with object lock like a clerk who doesn't smile. The hallway mic caught a different rhythm then, the sound of a rubber stamp thunking on paper. My sister said, "Make it official," and Mom's friend obliged, pressing a notary stamp that looked crisp enough to be newborn. The audio angle brought their breaths together. I zoomed the overhead frame in, counted dots along the margin, and filed the moment under paper that screams. The stamp number would have a history. I could already feel the shape of it. They gathered for a quick huddle by Dad's chair. My brother pitched a plan. Call the bank from the office phone so caller ID says the right line. Present consent, move the high yield first. My cousin nodded hard. Mom's friend said, if anyone asks, he gave it to me last week. The speaker, unfazed, said, please present identification for executor access. They didn't. I let the scene play out until the first call connected, then watched the bank's AML alert pop through my inbox like a signal flare. Flag transfer attempt, partial hold placed, awaiting documentation. I forwarded the notarization audit packet I'd built, attached the EXIF and UA mismatches, and dropped a polite cover note any judge could quote. They stayed another hour, taking photos, narrating discoveries for the camera they pretended not to see. When they left, the house exhaled. The breaker stayed down. The rack breathed battery, then mains. Logs rolled. Hash ladder climbed. I paid my bill, left cash because my card lives in logs, and walked into a sky that felt like clean code. The first battle wasn't noisy. It was accurate. And accuracy, the bank run, when you're turning money into evidence, feels like murder. The morning after inventory day, they shifted from theater to wiring money. I could feel the tempo in the logs. Texts pinging between their phones on my geofence edge. A calendar entry called bank errands. Then a deliberate quiet like actors waiting for their cue. I sat 2 booths back at the same diner, same waffles, because routine keeps you from grand gestures. Front door keypad, 2 deliberate fails. That wasn't about getting in. That was about lighting up my automation so they could claim attempted access. Good. The webhook sprinted to the bank's fraud API with GPS, UTC, and my device cert. A second copy slid to the trustee inbox tagged tamper. 10 seconds later, the fraud dashboard I'd stood up for them did its job. Big, shiny admin button, readable with a borrowed password, watermarking every pixel with IP, time, and the user agent string they didn't bother to disguise. When they tapped it, a 1-pixel hash beacon sat down in their cache like a dog settling on a rug. They'd learned one thing: don't use my Wi-Fi. So they parked outside and fired up a hotspot. Fine. The IMSI logger in my Faraday-painted toolbox yawned, then started writing down device IDs as they blew kisses at the nearest tower. A VPN blinked on. Good taste, bad timing. And they ran the fake dashboard through it, thinking they'd ghost the IP. WebRTC stunned ICE politely revealed the exit IP anyway, and the block matched the same /24 from the eSign audit trail. People change tactics, not habits, and the UA string and patch cadence gave them away. The first transfer they queued was a test. Move 50 grand from a high yield to an external where they thought they'd be cleaned. The bank's AML system half froze it before the last click, flagged for unusual device, flagged for location mismatch, flagged for my webhook screaming from the front door 5 minutes earlier. The AML analyst called me. I kept my voice flat. I forwarded the notarization audit packet. EXIF time zone off, remote webcam mismatch, UA strings with macOS 12.6.3 pretending to be me when my fleet runs 13+, IP geolocation to their office suite, and the MIC yellow dot decode stamped 2:11 a.m. on their fresh consent. I added one line. Chain of custody hash ladder attached, root hash timestamped by a trusted authority at each interval. They pivoted like amateurs, pretending to be pros. My brother tried calling the bank from Dad's old office line for the caller ID halo, reading from a script that had executor underlined like it made him taller. The bank asked for verification. He sent a photo of the consent, still warm from last night's scanning. My watermark sat in the PDF's pixels, quiet as a tattoo. On my end, the click-through to the admin page triggered the pixel again, this time on a different device. Mom's friend's tablet. Same WebKit oddities, same hotspot IMSI echo. The bank asked for the notary's license. They sent the stamp number I'd already reverse searched to a dead commission. The analyst put me on hold and looped in legal. While they waited in a parking lot, plotting how to say urgent without saying panic, my house filed a little affidavit without me. Geofence entries aligned to keypad fails, audio snippets of "we'll say we found it open," thermal footage of the torch, and the transfer attempt timestamps lining up like teeth in a gear. Every log line salted and signed, every hour rolled into the Merkle tree. Root hash anchored to a time authority. Digest emailed to my attorney and archived. Boredom, but admissible. They tried the external bank next, a credit union they thought would be looser. The moment they authenticated, my decoy dashboard offered an override button the size of a billboard. They clicked it, because humans click big things when they feel small. The overlay wrote their IP and UA across the screen in red for the camera and their own reflection. That's the thing about phishing your own attackers. It's not theft, it's a mirror. A text popped up on my phone from my sister. "You win. Can we talk?" I put the phone face down. Talking is for people who think words outrun logs.